So let's just jump right into it, Kat. Why did you take this fight?
Why did I take it?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, why? I guess I'm a fighter. Fighters fight. I don't know. I was feeling pretty good, and I had, I was seeing that, that fight between Amanda and Cris is going down, and I really, that fight's been on my radar between one of each of them for a while, and then. They were saying something regarding having an alternate for that. So, I raised my hand, said, let me know if you want me to start getting ready, because I will. And then, I don't know, pretty shortly after, I get the phone call telling me to get ready, and then another phone call saying, you know what, how about putting me on that card? So, Megan, I think Megan is someone that, I've kind of also thought for a while too, that'd be an interesting one. The 45 division isn't that big or established yet, and she's out there and she's big and she's tough. And, there's been a lot of hype behind her. I know that she was rather accomplished in Invicta stuff. So, also a good test. I just really want to get out there and get my hands on people and kind of figure out the hierarchy of this sport with the women. And, I thought it'd be a good match. So when they threw that option out there, I was pretty excited for it, and my coaches are excited for it, and it all aligns. So there we go.
That's a good reason as any. Let's backtrack here a little bit. So you were looking to get the Cyborg fight, and they told you to get ready, or what did you specifically request an opponent, or just a timeline?
No, I mean, they had already announced that they were doing Cyborg Amanda. And
Right.
Then I believe it was Cris that was out there saying that she wanted to petition for there to be an alternate training to get ready, because she was worried Amanda was going to pull out.
I see. Okay.
And I'm sitting there, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many times Amanda has been pulled out or has pulled herself out, but enough for it to be a concern. And so I was like, well, there's a likeliness there, and maybe, that's what's up. I'll join in, see what ends up happening, get ready for it. Like, I've wanted to be in camp. I've been feeling antsy. I've been feeling like, stationary right now has been kind of hard. So, I had goals of wanting to get a third fight within the year. And, that's really what was open. So I wasn't sure that it was going to happen. I was hoping it was going to happen, but, this is what's next. And I'm just excited to have something on the calendar right now. I've been feeling on fire. I've been feeling excited to get my hands on people again. Like, I've been good. Everything's been right lately. So it's like, just want to keep that momentum.
Fair enough. So many questions, so let's get through them a little bit here. Do you believe that, let's say something happens to Amanda, that you'll get the call up to the main event and not Megan?
Yes.
Did they tell you that?
Yes, I do. I mean, that's the how this originally started. So I'm gonna assume, and yeah, I mean that it's clear. I mean, I believe Cyborg was trying to say that it would be tournament style. So maybe me and Megan would be the number one contender fight, and they're the title fight. So our winner fights their winner is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. Results talk.
So you've always been really, really strong at 135, maybe the strongest competitor physically in that division. That gives you an advantage in going from 135 to 145, but I'm wondering how you think you match up against the 145ers physically.
I mean, I'm a really big 135er. I cut down from 160. I have incredible plans set in place for that. It's something that I've been cutting weight since I was 12 years old. My body is not too happy with doing it, but it gets the job done. And so to be able to cut and stop at 145 versus stop at 135, like, that's amazing to me. I still have plans and designs in the 135 division, but, I really, because, I mean, at this point, it's about girls my size. So that would be girls 135 and girls 145. Like, ultimately, the goal would be to have the strap in both divisions. But, yeah, going up, like, I get to lift differently. I get to lift way heavier, work on different dynamic and explosive movements that might have put on size or weight. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. And those are all, sorry, those are all things that I don't know. I get to implement and use now that I get to, use that extra 10 pounds. So, I don't know, it's going to be fun. I'm watching myself with my coaches just be excited, having me do other things, and it's exciting. I think I look forward to it a lot.
All right, so Megan Anderson did great in Invicta and then had the fight against Holly Holm. Have you seen it? And if so, what do you make of her performance there?
I mean, she's a large girl. You know, she definitely has the length and the size in her division, in her back pocket. But depending on opponent strength and stuff, I like those long legs. That's a whole lot of legs to grab onto, you know. I felt like she, I can definitely move faster than her. I think I'm stronger. I think I have a lot more weapons and tools to use. She got that UFC rust off, so she knows what it's like to be in there now, and I expect that it'll be a much more exciting fight. But I'm not sleeping on her. I think she's a really tough opponent, and she's game. She's got that look in her eye, and I think it's going to be I think it's a very interesting, very good matchup.
Yeah, it certainly is. Let's backtrack here a little bit. You got the win over Marion Reneau back in July. Now that stopped a 3-fight skid. You won that one convincingly. Can you describe how important that was for you to come out on top there?
I mean, it was super important. Like you said, I was coming off of 3 losses, and all of those losses are people that I could have beaten, but life happened, and for some reason that was the way the path went and the way my body and my mind went for those fights. And I got to just take them one at a time and learn from each of them, which I did, and make the adjustments that I needed to, which I did, and it ended me back up in the W column. So now I have a recipe for how I'm fighting now, what's normal to me, like what I can do with my camp and my body that are going to have me show up optimally. So that's what I'm doing. And there's a lot of relief. I'm excited training for this fight. I'm pumped. I feel like a little magician, running around with my skills and my confidence. So it's a great win. I realize there's work to do, and I'm doing that work. So it's really just time.
When you say magician, what do you mean? That's interesting.
I don't know. There's, finding the ways to be elusive, moving, just feeling happy with it, like excited with it, and enticed to be putting on a show, the entertainment, but at the same time, the passion. Like there's so much purpose in it to me, and to get through all the things I've gotten through that, make every little success so much more worth it, and worth it for me, but also worth it for the fans. So I'm just, I'm living in the moment with all of this. I'm having a good time putting it together and putting on a show. I loved how it felt to not only beat Marion, but to have fireworks with it again. That felt great. And that feeling in itself is very addicting. So, I'm here for those.
Now, did I hear you correctly in saying that the goal is to be the first women's champ?
I mean, I'm not sure I said those exact words, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I want to know the hierarchy with the women. I want to know what's up. Who's the greatest of all times? Who can figure out how to beat everybody? What's regardless of the style, how. I mean, it's one thing to be a great fighter. It's another to be a great athlete, and when you have both and you're working on both, those are ways to find out where you are and what position among everybody. I have high respect for every girl in this division, but we are in this sport. But, what we're all doing here is trying to figure out where we are, in all of this. And I want to be on that mountaintop, and I have every intention and every ounce of my body working to get there, and then to see the vision once we're up there. I'm excited, and I think I can beat and figure out every single woman in this division. And obviously that's talk until it's done, but I'm excited to be doing the work.
What's interesting is if you do well in this fight, maybe you get a title shot, but let's say there's some kind of complication. don't you think it's possible that a strong performance at UFC 232 also helps your chances of getting a bantamweight title shot?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that Amanda's up at that fight's at 135 or 145 right now. You know, I'm at 35 or going up to 45. Like, I understand that this is a lot of views. This is a lot of people looking at this fight with, okay, what would happen if they were at this weight? Well, what happens now that they're at that weight? Well, how, you know, she gave up this, or she put up that, or, you know what I mean? There's so much, you know, quote unquote math to do here. And results are obviously going to be something people think of, you know, and it's, you know, it's very interesting. I think it's a super interesting tournament, if you want to call it that, between the four of us, because, you know, there's a lot of components that are different than normal, you know, and so it's all, it'll be a great fan event for sure to see those fights that night.
You know, what's interesting to me, I don't know how you feel about it, Kat, but I felt like, you know, look, Ronda had a great run, but your fight against her was not really representative of your uppermost ability. And I wonder if you feel like now that you're back on the win column, you still have some time left in this sport. You still have time, do you agree or no, that you can still show exactly how talented you are. I don't know that you've actually done that yet in the UFC, and this is one of those steps to getting to that kind of place.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I know of myself, and I've told myself, is like, man, like these last 5 years, they're definitely not the best years of my life. You know what I mean? That is, within that, I mean, there's the cliche, like I definitely not owning or buying that, like, your best years are behind you. That's not, like, all I've done is grow and heal and work and experiment and put things in towards finding me and my best self and my best circumstances and my best, you know, personal life and home life, and doing everything that I can to just grow as a person from the things that were the worst things in my life. So to consider that I could possibly have like this, like, great athletic career sitting alongside them, like the toughest, hardest, craziest years of my life, like I can't consider that is all, you know. And the more that I recover, the more that I grow, the more that I actually get to see the muscle memory come along with the confidence, come along with the clarity and the closure, and being more complete with things. Like, I'm watching myself get better at the things that I'm passionate about, and that is exciting to me. And when I'm excited, this is all easy. Like, everything about this is easy. I never started this sport to be famous or to make money. I started this sport because it's creative and because I got to play, and I feel those things again, and it makes it just so much more, I don't know, it's more me. It's more me, and I feel more me, and that ends up being what makes me so dangerous.
So if I'm reading this right, this is not necessarily at 145 a one-off for you. You could go back and forth, you think, for perhaps a while if the opportunity is right.
I won't even say if the opportunity is right. I mean, my goals are to have the belt at each division and beat both girls at beat both divisions of all of the girls. And, you know, whatever that ends up looking like should I just end up sticking to what I have as far as my goals and as far as what I think I'm capable of, like, that's just time and what it's have. Obviously, my goals were to come up through the 135 division, win that, and then go 145 because I was the champion at 125. So to have them be in order was my vision, but not a damn day of this entire journey has been to the standards of my vision. So for me to go from 35 and then maybe get the 45 belt first, you know, however realistic that is at this moment, and then to go to 35 or whatever, like, I don't care. Like, the object is the game, you know, the journey is what, you know, is malleable. So, you know, however that ends up looking, like, I'm not trying to be too controlling of it. What I'm trying to do is just do the work and see where it lands me. And so far, that's been a great plan for me.
You know, you're one of the few women, one of four only, to get a win over Amanda Nunes. What do you make of her chances against Cyborg?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I know Amanda hits hard. I know Cyborg hits hard. I know, if either of them decide to go to the ground, who knows what that looks like? Like, I don't know. You know, she's everybody's grown. Everyone's done work since Amanda fought, since I fought. You know, we both have changed a lot within training camps and living arrangements and, I mean, life, you know, in general. And I mean, she could have improved. She could have stayed the same. She could, you know, when I fought her, she was very good. She almost stopped me in the beginning, but then I came back around and crushed her. And that, you know, that's a good fighter. So I don't know. I mean, everyone at this level is very good, and you're never guaranteed a night. So it's very possible Amanda beats Cyborg. You know, it's very possible Cyborg keeps her reign. So I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting. A lot of work has been done on both women.
And then certainly I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about your general direction you took. You know, a few years ago, you moved out to the West Coast, I believe. You're out there with Alliance. From social media, it seems like you're quite happy with the choice. Reflecting back on it now, as you venture into this big fight at 145, are you satisfied? Did you get out of the West Coast what you were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted a fresh start. I wanted something new. Colorado is amazing, and it's my home. And, you know, like, a lot happened there. And it was, I feel like I wasn't able to, like, really grow any more than I was. I got to my best there, but I hit a ceiling, you know, and it was time to make some changes, both for me and my child. And so we did. And we drove west. We came out here, a whole new set of, like, things to have no idea what to do with, you know, but that ends up being an incredible canvas. You know, just kind of followed the paths and went to the places that they led, and, you know, learned more, did more, found what ended up being the right fits for me as far as coaching and as far as friends and where to live, put them in school, all of that, you know. So life has definitely changed. It looks very different. But the number one goal was, you know, I have put so much time and effort into this career. Like, I want to be all in. I want to have known and done when I'm 80 that I walked away from this having been 100% committed to seeing it through, you know, and also showing my son what that kind of commitment looks like, regardless of, you know, what happens along the way, because this is something I've been passionate about my whole life. And that in itself was, you know, the drive I needed. And there's been lots of ups and downs, lots of curves I didn't expect, you know, some stops I didn't really look at too happily. But at the end of the day, like, we're happy and we're healthy, and I'm finding what it is that makes me my best. And, you know, he's got a smile on his face, and I'm grateful for all of that. And the rest of it is, you know, still to be written.
Real quickly, a lot of fighters won't even entertain the idea of, like, what a loss would have meant for their career. But and again, you won that Marion Reneau fight soundly, unanimous decision, but it was an easy call. But if you had lost that fight, had you given any thought to what that might have meant?
No, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. There's no meaning to that. Like, it's me continuing to try things. And then when they work, awesome. Okay, try more. And when they don't work, awesome. Okay, try more. You know, like, I don't see it as these, like, deal breaker events that are going to tell me what to do with my life. Like, I know what I'm passionate about it. I know I'm going to see it through. Like, the past of the wins don't matter. The past of the losses don't matter. Like, when I'm in it, and I'm in it. So all of that has no meaning to me.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I got to tell you, I'm really excited about your fight at UFC 232. I cannot wait to see you back in the octagon 3 times in 1 year. That is that's a healthy clip of activity. And thank you so much for spending some time with us, Kat. 232 can't get here soon enough. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day.
You too.